Robbie! Bro! Why'd you do this to me, boys? Why'd you do it? Oh, no! Got you away in pain.
Lonely, I'm Mr. Lonely. I have nobody to podcast with me. Ah!
Why, boys? How could you leave me alone? How could you do it to me? You mother...
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Kayfabe Today podcast. My name is Eric, and you can follow me on Twitter at MTLBroski. And I'm solo this week. That's right. After the huge stress on our lives with hashtag Where's Drew, now I have an additional set of stress with hashtag Where's My Son. That's right. Robbie Radford is missing. Well, he's not missing. He probably just, flexed his muscles in his sleeveless shirt. And, some Betties came after him. And pussy before podcast. That's the motto here at the Kayfabe Today podcast. So I can't blame the little scamp, the little guy, the product of my loins. I miss you, Robbie. I miss you, Drew. Please come back. Part of me thinks that they've joined forces with Danny, who's my co-host on a Broski and a Hosky, and they're plotting some sort of mega podcast to take me down because all three of them in the past week have ditched me basically for podcasting, and I'm just left here on my own. But this isn't a pity party. No. This is the Kayfabe Today podcast. So let's get into some news, shall we? So this week, the top story, I guess, which seems to be the new thing every month, is there was more nudes leaked on the internet. This time they were of Charlotte, and yeah, could have gone my entire life without seeing her naked, to be perfectly honest with you guys. I'm not gonna nitpick at her body or whatever, but here, you know what? Let me just leave it at this. The first thing I thought when I saw the picture was, and I'm gonna ask this question out to you. Leave your answers in the comments down below. But here's my question. Was that a big clit or a small dick? All right, now that I've let that sink in for a little bit, guys, let's get into what we actually came here for. Not any type of body shaming, none of that. We never do that here. We're not going to make fun of any dead wrestlers because Robbie's not on the show this week. We're going to talk about some graps because this past week we had Payback. It was a pay-per-view that very few of us were looking forward to. And, in our defense, WWE didn't really give us much of a reason to be excited for Payback. The build to it was really, really sad. And half of the match, well, not half of the matches, but you had a two basic SmackDown matches on a Raw-only pay-per-view. So that was really, it just takes attention away from the matches. That being the Bray Wyatt-Randy Orton match, which was suddenly not for the title anymore, and we'll get to that match because holy fuck, what a strange idea the House of Horrors was. And then of course we had the Chris Jericho Kevin Owens, which actually surprised a lot of us. So let's get right into it. The pre-show kicked off with Enzo and Cass defeating Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, because I guess Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson beat them the week before on Raw, so 50-50 all the way. Then we had Miz TV with Finn Balor, which was basically a whole thing to set up, the Miz getting beat up by Finn Balor. Great stuff. Then Payback proper started. The first match of the night was Chris Jericho, who actually defeated the champion, the United States champion, the face of America, Kevin Owens, in what was another really good match. I, for one, enjoyed their match at WrestleMania, and I thought this match was better. I thought it was more hard-hitting, a little bit faster paced. One of the main criticisms from the Mania match was that it was a little bit slow-paced. I felt this one was really, really good, top to bottom. In the end, Chris Jericho defeated Kevin Owens, which surprised me because if he won, which he did, He left Raw and he went to SmackDown, but we'll get more into that later on in the show. Up next, we had the Cruiserweight Championship match between Austin Aries, who defeated Neville, but via disqualification, so Neville retains the championship. I didn't watch this match, so I don't really have much to say about it. In what was another really good match, we had the Hardy Boys defending their tag team championships against Cesaro and Sheamus. In the end, it was the Hardy Boys who defeated Sheamus and Cesaro, but after that, Sheamus and Cesaro shook the Hardy Boys' hands, then proceeded to leave the ring, only to come right back and ruin their celebration by beating the shit out of the Hardy Boys. And this was also a match where Jeff Hardy took a nasty kick to the face and lost a tooth. And WWE was very eager to show you exactly when it happened and to show you the tooth. Whenever something legit happens in WWE, they love to show replays of it because they're like, see? We're not fake. But I digress. Up next, we had the Raw Women's Championship match between Alexa Bliss, who defeated champion Bayley in her hometown. Alexa Bliss becoming the first woman to ever win the Raw and SmackDown Women's Championships. This was a decent match. Was it great? No. Do I remember much about it? Not really, but I do remember enjoying it at the time. So that's, for a women's match, that's good enough for me. Plus, I really like Alexa Bliss. I like Bayley, but she needs some sort of, I don't know if it's a character development or a whole new reboot or something, because her happy-go-lucky kind of like pedophile bait gimmick really just isn't working for me on the main roster, and I don't think I'm the only one in that respect. Up next, we had the House of Horrors match. Yeah. What to say? First thing, okay, here's an idea. The pay-per-view was on the West Coast. So if it starts at 8 o'clock on the East Coast, that means it's 5 o'clock on the West Coast, right? Now, the reason I bring this up is because when the House of Horrors match took place, it was still daylight. So it just makes it weird. Like, there was some continuity issues, and that was one of them. It should have been daylight when they were wrestling. The whole Bray Wyatt getting into the limo at the end of beating the shit out of Randy Orton, that was really weird, because Randy Orton was the one who came in with the limo driver, right? So did the driver was just like, okay, well you're a wrestler, so I guess that's close enough. Fuck the guy who actually paid me to come out here. I don't know. Maybe I'm just thinking about it a little bit too much, but what do you want? I'm a mark, so that's gonna happen. What else about this match? Well, this was the first match where I ever saw someone kind of win via refrigerator. That being that Bray Wyatt finally got the upper hand on Randy Orton when he dropped a refrigerator on him, which I'm no expert, but I'm pretty sure that should have killed him. But it's wrestling, so of course it didn't. After he did that, he went outside and he kind of looked at the house, and the house turned red, which I guess was supposed to be evil. I don't know. I mean, you can do that with your phone now and LED lights in your house. So I mean, is it really that scary? It's just that was my issue with this whole thing. It just came off really corny, really dumb. And here's my major issue with the match. The whole concept was you're in this House of Horrors, right? But in order to win the match, you had to go back to the arena and end it in the ring. So what was the point of the House of Horrors in the first place? If you're going to have the match end in the ring, what's the goddamn point of the House of Horrors? Is it so that you can live out some of your Walking Dead fantasies? Because that's what it looked like. It looked like an episode of The Walking Dead. Just for some reason, some dude was in some business pants and no shirt, and the other guy looked like he belonged in Waco, Texas or something. It was just a really strange concept for a match, and I felt that the execution, though, I mean, it was something different, but sometimes there's a reason why people don't do things that are different. It's because you end up with matches like the House of Horrors match, and it was just dumb. It's just fucking dumb. When you're watching something and then you start thinking about your life and what you're doing with it. That's what happened to me while I was watching the House of Horrors match. I was wondering what the hell I'm fucking doing with my life. And I wasn't too happy with the answer. But my existential crisis aside, we'll get on to the next match, which was Seth Rollins, who defeated Samoa Joe in, I don't know. It was an okay match. I'm so over Seth Rollins. I don't like this babyface Seth Rollins. at all. Sure, he's okay in the ring. He puts on good matches, but I don't know. I just felt that this match with Samoa Joe was kind of lackluster. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't as offensive as the House of Horrors, but that House of Horrors match killed the crowd. That's one thing too. Felt the crowd was really dead after the House of Horrors match, and it didn't really come back until the main event. But speaking of the main event, that's where we're at. Isn't that convenient? We had Braun Strowman, who defeated Roman Reigns in a fucking hard-hitting, brutal type of match, and it had one of my favorite moments of just Braun Strowman just fucking beating the shit out. Not just because it's Roman Reigns, but just I enjoy watching Braun Strowman be a monster because he looks like one. He's the fucking biggest guy that they got. I mean, you know, aside from Big Show, but Big Show's over the hill. Big Show's over. This is a new guy. This is a new big guy, the new attraction guy here, the Braun Strowman. And I think they got a. I mean, anytime you can see a guy that big do a kip up, you know you got something special. Because I don't know, I'm like 165 pounds soaking wet, and if I try to kip up, I'd probably fucking, you know, need bed rest for 3 weeks from injuring my back. But yeah, this match was very, very, very hard hitting, and it ended with Braun Strowman completely destroying Roman Reigns. So you know that Twitter and the internet absolutely went nuts for that. And that was Payback. Like I said at the beginning, this show was a lot better than I thought it would be. It had some very decent matches. The United States Championship match, the tag team match, and the main event were all really solid matches. The House of Horrors was the low point, but overall, got to give it a pretty solid rating, which I won't do because I hate numbers and stars and shit like that. Let's just say it was a very good show. Now then, on to Monday Night Raw. But before we get to Monday Night Raw and I start questioning my existence again, here's a little message from some of our friends from the Shining Wizards and the Marking Out podcasts.
If you're not tuned in to the Shining Wizards, listen to what some of our fans have to say about the show.
Oh my God, I just love the Shining Wizards. It's 4 fucking virgin marks complaining about a fucking fake fighting show. Keep going, boys. The Stallion fucking loves you.
Tune in live every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. East, rantemradio.com. It's the Shining Wizards, where it's wrestling talk and talk about wrestling.
This is Marking Out.
Hello, it's Brandon.
And Dave.
And we do a weekly pro wrestling podcast called Marking Out.
And you can check us out on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Google Play, and markingout.com.
You guys are awesome.
As always.
And we're back. Well, I mean, I guess I'm back. It's not like there's anybody here with me because everybody who podcasts with me eventually leaves.
Loneliness and sorrow. Bro! Love me!
Oh, yeah, let's talk about Raw. That'll cheer me up, right, guys? Oh, for fuck's sake, no, it won't. All right, so we're not going to change the format of the show just because I'm alone. So let's get right into Raw's official results. Alexa Bliss, Emma, Alicia Fox, and Nia Jax defeated Sasha Banks, Mickie James, Dana Brooke, and Bayley at 13 minutes and 5 seconds via pinfall. Luke Gallows defeated Enzo Amore at 5 minutes and 45 seconds via pinfall. Rich Swann, Akira Tozawa, and Jack Gallagher defeated Tony Nese, Brian Kendrick, and Noam Dar at 10:35 via pinfall. Can we see a trend? Apollo Crews defeated Heath Slater at 3 minutes and 33 seconds via, you guessed it, pinfall. Austin Aries defeated TJP at 11 minutes and 30 seconds via submission. Well, fuck me. We had a submission. Nice. And then what was a incredible main event. Fortunately, you had to sit through like 2 hours and 45 minutes of bullshit to get to it. But we had an incredible Intercontinental Championship #1 contenders match between The Miz, who defeated Seth Rollins, and Finn Balor at 22:55 via pinfall. All right, let's just get right into the Intercontinental Championship match. I really liked this match, and it was funny because I was thinking about not watching the show to the end because it's just like there was just nothing really that compelling this week going on in the world of the Raw brand. But this #1 contenders match was absolutely incredible. All three men put everything they had on the line. And let's just talk about The Miz. How good is The Miz? The Miz, no matter who you put him in there with, and there's a lot of people who still think that The Miz can't wrestle, but if that were the case, then explain this to me. How is it every time you put him in a ring with a Seth Rollins, a Finn Balor, a Roman Reigns, an AJ Styles, anybody really who are considered good workers, they always get a great match out of The Miz? That's because the guy is not only one of the best heels in the company, I'd say he's one of the greatest talents that they have. He's good at PR. He can do the movie thing if they need him to, even though the movies aren't really ever that great, to be honest, in my opinion. Not that I've seen any of them. They just have this stigma to them. But I think I saw the one with John Cena, and I maybe saw it's Randy Orton. I think Randy Orton was in one of them. He killed the Marine for me. Randy Orton is about as exciting as fucking sandpaper to your ball sack, to be perfectly honest. Probably sandpaper is a little less painful to watch, though. Let's be honest. Not a big Randy Orton fan. But yeah, this great match was a great way to end Monday Night Raw. But like I said, you had to sit through a lot of garbage. But what wasn't garbage here was the coronation of Alexa Bliss. The women's division was in the ring awaiting the arrival of Alexa Bliss. Bayley looking very, very sad. Bliss thanks them all for being there, but admits that Kurt Angle made them attend. Some call themselves the Queen, but the Queen is dead. Long live Alexa Bliss. Now she wants to be called a goddess, which I'm cool with. I think that's fine. She's earned that title, in my estimation. Plus, she's really hot. So whatever she wants, she should probably get. That's how life works, right? It was a very, very entertaining segment. One thing that's great about Alexa Bliss, and she seems to be the only one, her and The Miz, not to talk about The Miz again, but it's they interact with the crowd. They play off the crowd, and that seems to be like a lost art in today's WWE. But anytime you can get the crowd involved and make them feel like they're part of the show, we eat that shit up. And it's unfortunate that not more people kind of clue in and do that. Or maybe they can't. Who knows? Maybe like it's one of Vince's rules. Like you can't say wrestling, you can't sneeze, or like, you know, you can't interact with the crowd. You just got to pretend that there's nobody there. I don't know what they're thinking in that company. But yeah, the women's segment was entertaining, and that was pretty much entirely because of Alexa Bliss. Then we had a Seth Rollins promo later in the night, but a pandering Seth Rollins is not a Seth Rollins I want to have anything to do with, so I'm moving right along. We had Cesaro and Sheamus who kind of came out, and they're sporting some new black leather jackets, which I liked. I feel once you go heel, you need either a beard, some sunglasses, a leather jacket. What else could you use? Maybe a cane of some sort, you know, something you could use as a weapon in a match. And they did a combo here of sunglasses with the leather jacket, so that's a guaranteed heel look, and they look pretty good. They finally look like a team, and I think that's cool, and I like them together. Now, Sheamus says it feels good to be set free. He never really liked any of you, meaning us, the fans, which is fine, completely understandable. Just take a look at Twitter and you'll understand why he feels that way. He believes Cesaro and himself did things his way in order to make the great team, but then at Mania, the Hardy Boys returned and stole their moment. So that's basically the catalyst for their turn the night before at Payback. They felt like their moment was supposed to be at WrestleMania, but that the Hardy Boys swooped in and stole it from them. Then we had a match between Apollo Crews and Heath Slater, but nobody gave a shit, including me, which is unfortunate because I don't dislike either guy in this match. I'm a big Heath Slater fan. I love Heath Slater. I've loved Heath Slater for a long time, and I've always been in Apollo Crews' corner. It's just they're not doing anything with either guy, and it's unfortunate because I think you move Apollo Crews to SmackDown and you could have something there. But he's on Raw, so I guess they're trying to do something with Titus O'Neil, but let's be honest, maybe if Apollo Crews needed lessons on how to mouth kiss his son, he could ask Titus, but as far as getting over, what's the point? And then Kurt Angle came out to put over Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman, saying something to the effect of it was the most intense or brutal match he's ever seen, which, you know, considering that match he had with that King of the Ring, I can't remember what year because I'm not that much of a nerd, but that King of the Ring match with Shane McMahon, like, that was a million times more brutal than the match we saw between Strowman and Reigns. But, hey, what are you going to do? Now, at this point, Wyatt comes down to the ring and he offers Angle a handshake. Now, he says that he means Angle no harm, and he's not here for destruction just yet, but instead is a savior. Savior of what? Maybe Monday Night Raw's creative, and take over creative and start booking stuff. Maybe that's what he meant. I don't know. I barely understand what Bray Wyatt is saying. Even when I'm high, it's still a challenge. I don't know what he's saying ever. Maybe I'm just too stupid to understand Bray Wyatt. But, yeah, he came out and then, you know, had a little interaction with Kurt Angle. It was cool. It's you know, hopefully they got something long-term for Bray Wyatt. I keep feeling like he's one of those guys that even if he had that very, you know, kind of short, uneventful title run, you know, they gave him the title, but does that really mean anything anymore? Not really. It seems like everybody eventually gets their turn with that title. So hopefully they have something long-term. Finn Balor feud that's rumored could be pretty interesting between the two, you know, being that Finn is the demon, you know, and Bray Wyatt's, you know, I don't know, cult leader or something. It could be interesting. There could be some potential for a cool storyline there, but who knows? Who knows? We'll just have to wait and see. Throughout the night, Dean Ambrose was interviewing different people in the #1 contenders match for the Intercontinental Championship. Yeah, you know, Ambrose, past couple weeks, his goofiness has not been as offensive as I normally find. I've actually thought he was pretty funny the week before on Raw when he was asking Y2J to get taken off the list. I thought that was pretty funny. And I don't know, maybe I'm just softening up on Dino. You know, maybe I'm going to eventually find a place for him in my heart. Not bloody likely, but it's cool to want things. Up next, we had Austin Aries versus TJP. As soon as TJP dabs, I lose interest because I'm there to see the dab. I know when I go to watch wrestling, if there isn't at least 4 or 5 solid dabs, I demand my money back for my ticket. TJP always delivers the most solid of dabs. But, yeah, as far as the match goes, I was really excited for Austin Aries when he first made it into the division. But try as I might, it doesn't matter who they bring in. It doesn't matter what kind of matches they set up. I can't bring myself to give 2 shits about the Cruiserweight division. And it's a shame because there's a lot of talented guys in that division. I just feel like, and maybe this is just me, you know, maybe I just should give 205 Live another chance. But I just, there's only so many hours in a week I want to spend watching wrestling. Even though it's pretty much the only thing I watch, you know, when it's on and not later on. But, you know, most of the time I'm disappointed. And that's for anybody who, I don't know, somehow wandered into this weird podcast that I'm doing right now. If you want to be a wrestling fan, you're going to have to get used to disappointment and stupid people because there's a lot of both in wrestling. So that's my advice to people who might want to be getting into wrestling. There's a lot of bullshit. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's just entertainment. So maybe we just all need to calm down. And when we get matches like we got in the main event, which was Seth Rollins versus The Miz versus Finn Balor for the #1 contendership to the Intercontinental Championship, that's what makes wrestling good. When you get matches like this. When you get matches like Nakamura and AJ Styles at Wrestle Kingdom. That's right. Dropping a little Jap Grap knowledge to fill the void. Since, you know, Robbie's not here. That was a great match. There was some Kenny Omega matches that Robbie thought were great, that I thought were utter garbage. Except the one where he spit on that Japanese dude, and then the Japanese dude started spitting on him. I always forget who the guy, maybe Tanahashi or Tanahashi. I don't know. But that was fun. I like watching wrestling where the first 10 minutes of the match is just 2 dudes spitting on each other. I feel like that raises the stakes. Because as someone who's been spit on before, and if anybody listening has ever been spit on before, you know it's a traumatic event. It sucks, especially if they put some effort into it. And, you know, you guys know what I'm talking about. Getting spit on is a traumatic event. How I got here, I have no idea. But this is what happens when I don't have Robbie or Drew here to rein me in. I go off on random tangents about people being spit on. But I think I was talking about the Intercontinental Championship match. It was good. It was really good. I would recommend, if you haven't seen it, you should probably go check it out. Probably match of the week. Yeah, I'd say, I'd fairly confidently say it's easily the match of the week this week for both brands. So that was Monday Night Raw in a nutshell. Let's just keep this fun time going. Let's get right into SmackDown. All right, the official results for SmackDown. Jinder Mahal defeated Sami Zayn at 10 minutes and 55 seconds via pinfall. Ty Dillinger defeated Aiden English at 1 minute and 3 seconds via pinfall. Carmella and Natalya defeated Naomi and Charlotte at 11 minutes 55 via pinfall. Dolph Ziggler defeated Sin Cara at 4 minutes and 35 seconds via my homeboy, the man that never leaves, pinfall. And then our main event, the U.S. title rematch from Payback. Kevin Owens recaptures his United States Championship from Chris Jericho at 12 minutes and 40 seconds via pinfall. You like that suspense there? Keep you guys on the edge of your seats. I don't need Drew and Robbie. I got this. All right. The show kicks off with Jinder Mahal doing a photo shoot with the WWE title. But Shane O'Mac is having none of it. Tells him, you got to win that shit, son. I'm paraphrasing. Didn't exactly say that. And then he takes the title away from Jinder. And Jinder vows to win the title back at, well, not back, win the title at Backlash. And then Shane McMahon's like, you know what? Fuck it. Fight Sami Zayn tonight. So that's how that match came to be. Now, Shane McMahon talks. He's in the ring because, you know, having McMahon before the theme song wasn't enough. We got to have some more McMahon on the other side of that theme song. So Shane McMahon's in the ring. He panders to the crowd and welcomes Chris Jericho to SmackDown. Now, Jericho says this is a special night. This is the new show of Jericho. Smack it down, man. Now, Shane is obviously thrilled to have Jericho on SmackDown. His first match on SmackDown as a member of the Blue brand will be defending his United States Championship against Kevin Owens. So big main event for Jericho's first night and what might have been his last night on SmackDown. Up next, we had Jinder Mahal versus Sami Zayn. This was a decent match, and what I like here is that Jinder Mahal is being built like a fucking heel. He's got a nice little stable. He doesn't win clean. He cheats. He uses the Singh brothers kind of like a security blanket to assure his victory, and I love it. I absolutely love it. Plus, Jinder Mahal seems to be pissing off the internet just by existing. So, as someone who, you know, enjoys upsetting a large amount of people from time to time, not always, only when they deserve it. My beanie, I tip my beanie, which we all know is my highest honor. I tip my beanie to Jinder Mahal and the booking team behind him because they're doing a fantastic job building this guy up as someone the fans hate because, you know, he's brown. And if watching WWE has taught us anything, it's that brown people and Russians are evil. That's Vince McMahon. That's not me. All right, moving right along, we had a match between Ty Dillinger and Aiden English, which I've already spent more time talking about this match than it actually lasted. In fact, it was a waste of time. A funny waste of time. I mean, Aiden English threw a temper tantrum at the end of the match. That was cute. And apparently, well, here we go. We go backstage now, and Jericho walks, and Renee Young decides to interview him. Now, Aiden English walks by while the interview is going on, and he's crying. Jericho puts him on the list. He cries, and then Renee makes the list of Jericho, and he calls her Ronnie. Now, some rumors, I don't know if this is confirmed. I just read this before starting recording, but there's some rumors that the Aiden English crying and being basically a big pussy backstage was a cheap shot at Mauro Ranallo. Now, I don't know if that's the case. If it is, Jesus Christ, Vince McMahon is the most petty human being I've ever come across. Well, not like come across, but ever heard of, really. That is crazy. And I could totally see something like that being done. Like that was done just to kind of take a cheap shot at Mauro. Do I think that was the case? The timing is suspect. Let's put it that way. The timing is very suspect to have this guy who, from all reports, was supposed to get a push, kind of get a backstage segment where he's buried by crying, because we all know real men don't cry. Crying is for pussies. I don't cry. Ever. Oh, I only cry on video in, sketches, but then people take them seriously. We get some highlight packages from last week from Naomi versus Charlotte. That's great. Good times. Hooray. And then we had a Naomi and Charlotte versus Carmella, Natalia, with Tamina and Ellsworth match. So it's Carmella and Natalia in the match, but they have Tamina and Ellsworth on the outside. I don't remember what happened during this match because I'm incredibly addicted to this game on my phone. Hey, in my defense, it's a WWE game, so it's completely relevant here. It's WWE Champions. It's like Bejeweled mixed with wrestling. And yeah, I can't believe I said that out loud. But yeah, I was completely addicted to it, and I was playing it. For what it's worth, I defeated The Miz with, I think I had Roman Reigns at the time. Unfortunately, Roman Reigns is like my most maxed out character. Like, even in fucking video games, they have to make him look strong. It's insane. It's insane. It's insane. But I'm sure these ladies had a fine match. I just didn't watch it. Up next, we had Dolph Ziggler versus Sin Cara. Didn't watch it. I'll be honest. Oh, God. Then we got some 205 Live stuff. Nobody cares about that. This is what I want to talk. We then get a Fashion Police video with Breeze and Fandango, where they run down a list of charges against the Usos, and Breeze says the bust goes down in Chicago on May 21st at Backlash. This was a really fun segment. It was a Law & Order-esque type of segment. It was really good. I hope they go somewhere with this from reports online, which, of course, you always have to take with a grain of salt. But from reports online, Vince McMahon is very high on Fandango and Tyler Breeze right now, and I hope that's the case. Big fan of both these guys. Breeze is a good Canadian boy, so I always got to have my boys' back. But it would just be nice to see them do something with a new tag team. Because what I like about the Fashion Police, or Breezango, or Febreze, or whatever the fuck you want to call them, what I like about them is they have a character. They have a very set character. They're the Fashion Police. It's weird, it's goofy, it's 80s wrestling, it's funny, but what I want to see from them in the ring is an aggressive side, a mean streak, if you will. I think if you combine that gimmick that is comedic, that is fun, that is entertaining to watch, because both guys are really great. I got a bunch of laughs out of me. I thought it was silly. I thought it was funny. I thought it was old school. And I just very high on Fandango and Tyler Breeze right now. So I'm actually hoping they win the title. I hope they take it from the Usos. Not that I don't like the Usos, but I would really like to see Fandango and Tyler Breeze get a shot with the belts, see where it goes, maybe get into a couple different feuds, and then drop the titles to a young upcoming tag team down the line, or maybe have a feud with the Alphas. I think the Alphas being those super serious type of wrestling characters against the goofiness of the Fashion Police. But once you get them in Fashion Police in the ring, they show a mean streak. Could be some good matches. Could be some very good matches. So hopefully we see some of that down the line. But immediately, at Backlash, I hope they take the titles from the Usos. The tag titles on SmackDown have been kind of passed around already. It seems like every team in the division has had a chance with the title already. But you know what? Give it to these two goofs and let them keep it for a while. Why not? Why not try something different? Have some fun with it. For fuck's sake. Wow, already U.S. title match. Main event for SmackDown. Champion Chris Jericho versus Kevin Owens. This was a pretty damn good match. AJ Styles, of course, was barred from ringside because we need a clear, decisive winner here. We all know AJ Styles is desperate to get onto Kevin Owens' level, right? How many of you just got really angry at that statement? Relax. AJ's the best in the world. We all know that. This match was another good one. Not quite as good as their match at Payback, but still, it had the right finish, right? Let's all be honest. Kevin Owens winning is always the right finish. They should call it the Owens finish. Kevin Owens wins. that's the Owens finish. This is these two guys have a pretty decent chemistry. I mean, on the mic, that's undeniable. But even in the ring, Jericho, okay, look, he's 46 years old. He's not going to be as quick as he used to be. He's not going to be as sharp as he used to be, but he can still put on a very good match if the guy in there with him is a solid worker. And I think that putting him and Owens together. Now, I'm glad the feud is over. It needed to be over. It was kind of dragging. They got maybe, this match here on SmackDown felt like they were, really, just trying to get water from a stone. But it was a good match, and you put Jericho and Kevin Owens together, and that's always super entertaining. Now, what was more interesting to me was what happened after the match, where Kevin Owens, he beat that boy. He beat that boy Jericho. Something fierce. Let's see. What did he do here? Let's see. Well, post-match, he beat him so bad that post-match the EMTs were sent to check on Jericho, but Owen returned from his first onslaught to hit another pop-up powerbomb. EMTs again helped Jericho to his feet, but Owens returns and attacks once more. He then grabs a chair and wraps it around Jericho's head and hits him face first right into the post. Woof. That was brutal. I mean, obviously it's a work, but they made it look good. Jericho sold it like $1 million. And that's how we ended SmackDown this week, with Chris Jericho seemingly gone forever, or until he feels like coming back. So thank you, Jericho, for stopping by. You're always welcome. Let's be honest here. This last run was probably one of his better runs in his entire career. Not just recently, I think in his entire career. The list, he got a fucking clipboard over. Okay, that's basically what the list is a clipboard. Sure, they jazzed it up after a couple of weeks, but when it started, it was a fucking clipboard, and he got it over. He got putting his index finger in the air, pausing for like a good 30 seconds, and then saying it over. All on this one run. Then he had his stuff with Kevin Owens, his matches with AJ Styles, all really solid stuff. He's been one of the more consistent parts of Raw, and I don't know how many times I've said it on this podcast, but Jericho and Owens, when they were together, were easily the best part of Raw each and every week, and that was for a good, good solid maybe month and a half, 2 months, maybe? My memory's not too good, but I know it was quite some time that they were the highlight of the show. But let's be honest, it's not very hard to be the highlight of Monday Night Raw, but that's not taking away anything from Owens and Jericho. I think we all know how entertaining they were together. Festival of Friendship, all that good stuff. Good times, good stuff all around. But that's going to be it for the show this week, guys. I just wanted to do something really quick. It's currently 2:15 in the morning, but I just wanted to get something out for you guys. Me and Robbie were supposed to do it this afternoon, but like I said, Robbie disappeared. So I decided to come on. I was going to maybe wait till Sunday afternoon to do the podcast, but then it's out on Monday. And really by then, Raw's on in a couple hours, so who cares anymore what we think. So this way I get to get it out Sunday morning. And, maybe if you guys want to grab a little coffee, have a little coffee, listen to the Kayfabe Today podcast. It sounds like a nice Sunday morning. Kick the girl that you brought home last night out. Get her out. Go home. Get out of my house. We did the business. We had our transaction. Go home now. Because I got to listen to one guy talk about wrestling for, half an hour, 45 minutes, or however long this went. But thank you guys for listening. Been very busy this week up on the YouTube channel. Put out a couple Walking Dead videos, including the first episode of Season 4. Put out some Doom videos again, finally. I did have some NHL games, but unfortunately Twitch only recorded like 3 minutes of an hour and a half live stream, so John will have to come back and we'll have to refilm those. It's unfortunate, though, because there was some footage that was really, really good. Some shit talking, but, I might use it and put it in the intro of future episodes. We'll have to see. Time will tell with that. If you want to support what I do here on the channel, if you want to support Robbie and Drew coming on each and every week, you can do so by heading over to patreon.com/FTITM. Every dollar helps. You can put in $1, you can put in $2, $3, $5, $20, $30, or maybe even $10,000. If you put in $10,000, I'll come to your house, I'll make you pancakes. How about that? I have a fantastic pancake recipe. If you're more into getting things in return for your money and not just handing it over in each every month, you can do so by going over to prowrestlingtees.com/FTITM. We got 4 awesome designs up there right now. And I got to say this, the Broski Club logo is going away soon. So is the First Thing in the Morning logo. Those shirts are going away soon. I'm going to replace them with some other logos that I've had Rocky and other people around my little Twitter universe working on, and I want to showcase those. So if you want to pick up a Broski Club or a First Thing in the Morning t-shirt, you better do so soon. You got about a month and a half, maybe 2 months to pick one up. So patreon.com/FTitM and prowrestlingtees.com/FTitM. So for myself, because there's nobody else here, this has been the Kayfabe Today podcast. Come back, boys. I'm terribly lonely.